I think we have to understand that liberalization was not a one blow activity, and the changes, India today, as we see India today, is a completely different country and reality from what existed before 1991. Now, what's important to realize is that a lot of it, but not all of it, has been the result of the liberalizing policies. At least two forces have led to this difference, the stark difference between India of the 70s and 80s, let's say, and the India of the 90s, 2000s and 2010s. And those two forces in my mind are the liberalizing policies, the change in the political structure of the country, including the sociological changes in the political hierarchies and the strengthening of certain previously neglected parts of the population, and probably to an even greater extent than both of this, by evolving technology. So all these three factors have contributed to this before and after situation that we see. So in order to get the setting for the lived experience, I must tell you that, well, in 1991, I had just finished my undergraduate degree in economics from one of the more quote-unquote left-leaning institutions in the country, Presidency College, Calcutta. And I had moved to probably what would be one of the high temples of capitalism at that point, if such a thing exists, would be IIM Ahmedabad as a student. So from the left to whatever qualified as right in those days. And we saw, I still remember, we saw the Manmohan Singh's budget presentation on TV while I was at IMA, and it seemed like he was demolishing all those things that we were taught to respect and hold as ground truths for economic policy making. And it came as quite a bit of a shock. And personally, I did not agree with much of the left-wing gibberish that used to go along in the conversation, particularly in a place like Calcutta, and very left-leaning talk, which didn't seem right even in that milieu and at that age. But Manmohan Singh's budget clearly seemed something that was what's the right word? I mean, it was like quite going against whatever we have learned as being the right thing to do. So what is interesting is how the received wisdom in economics has shifted. So going into 1991, we as young students of economics, we were already parroting the virtues of MRTP, the virtues of control, because that's all that we have been taught in academia, in our subjects, was that how the mixed economy and whatever the mix was the best thing to do, and how we needed to keep the greedy capitalists at bay through proper regulation, and how the poor could be taken care of only by restricting the rich from going too far. And today we talk about a completely different reality. We teach what we teach in classrooms are extremely different. So it's quite fascinating to see how the narrative as it is taught to students of economics has changed over the years. And I can assure you that the first 5-6 years there was quite a bit of doubt. It was not very clear at all. Like right now, that doubt has almost receded completely. People know that, well, liberalization was a good thing, it was a positive thing, and it has brought about huge changes, and that there is no going back on liberalization. But if you look at the political declarations of the Narasimha Rao government during that first critical phase of liberalization, what is fascinating is, if my memory serves me right, then almost every 3 months you would hear a declaration from Manmohan Singh say the reforms, the liberalization has moved the point of no return, has overtaken the point of no return. Right? Which of course he had to keep on telling people, because nobody was sure how soon the reforms would be reversed and how quickly we would go back to the old regime.